Hey guys, today we are going to be making big turkey wings. Very simple recipe, so let's just go ahead and get right on into it. Now, I've got my turkey wings already prepped. They've been washed, they've been cleaned with lime and lemon, and they've been blotted dry. Very important step. Make sure your turkey wings are dry. I've sprayed my pan down with Pam, and I put these in here face down or skin side down first. What we're gonna need: one large onion. I'm gonna chop that roughly. I'm gonna use about half of that. 2 packets of Macon Ga seasoning. I'm gonna use 1 packet to season each side of these turkey wings. 1 can of golden mushroom soup. You can find this on your soup aisle, whatever other soups. 1 can cream of mushroom or cream of chicken. I normally do cream of chicken, but this is what I had in my pantry. Some vegetable oil or some olive oil for the skin side. I'll explain that later. Some chicken broth. We're also going to be using some granulated garlic powder. So garlic powder, along with some onion powder. Give it a 1-2 punch. Some good all-purpose seasoning. This is the kind that I use, but any all-purpose seasoning will do. Optional is some seasoned salt if you're going to be using the all-purpose seasoning. I normally go with one or the other, but if you don't have the all-purpose seasoning, seasoned salt will do. Black pepper, always a must. Parsley flakes, give it a little extra blend. And I also use a little bit of poultry seasoning on the top of this off with. So, okay, as I said, I've already blotted these dry, and I'm starting with my skin side down to season first. That way, when I flip them over and put them in the oven, it'll be skin side up, which is going to be important in this cooking process. So, let's start with our Goya seasoning. And we can be pretty liberal on seasoning these turkey wings, because when they go in that gravy that we're going to make, the soup mixture we're going to make, it's going, all the seasoning we put on there is going to actually incorporate very nicely, so it's not going to be too heavy. Season with some onion powder. Again, you know, we can be pretty liberal. Only thing you got to watch in this recipe is your salt content. So as long as, if you're going to be using the seasoned salt, as long as you're not too heavy with that, you're going to be fine. Let's add a little bit of black pepper. I love black pepper, so I tend to use a good liberal amount of black pepper on these. Next, we're going to go with some garlic powder. Season these things real good. I like to season these one side at a time. Most cooks like to just put things in a bowl and throw a seasoning on them, then mix them up by hand. But I don't feel they are evenly incorporated. Let's add a little bit of the all-purpose seasoning or the seasoning salt, whichever you choose to use. We're going to hold off on the salt and just go with the all-purpose seasoning on my recipe. But feel free to do what suits your taste. You can use both. Just make sure to cut back a little bit on the seasoning salt so that you don't over salt these turkey wings. Follow these up with some parsley flakes. Most of the time I use some fresh chopped parsley for this recipe, but I didn't have any on hand, and that was the only ingredient I was missing, so I wasn't going to go to the store just for that. Okay, so now that we got our first side seasoning, let's flip these puppies over and season up the skin side. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to add vegetable oil to this skin side. Why do we do that? Because we want this skin side to crisp up as it bakes. the gravy is going to settle to the side of the turkey wings when we pour it over there. And this olive oil that we're putting on the skin side is going to allow the skin side to crisp up and get really give it a good bite through consistency. Without this olive oil on it, then this skin side the skin would be very rubbery when you go to bite it, and nobody likes to have a lot of rubbery skin in their mouth. So blotting these dry in the beginning process and then adding this olive oil or vegetable oil, whichever you use, to this side is crucial. So let me get cleaned up. I'm going to re-season these. All right, we're back. Got these re-seasoned. Got my onions, half of my onion chopped up, diced, good rough size chop. Just gonna sprinkle those right over top of the turkey wings. Get them all in there. No rhyme or reason with these. I like to leave these pretty good size so they don't disintegrate in the mixture. Next, we're just gonna add our cream of chicken or cream of mushroom soup with the can of golden mushroom soup. I use cream of mushroom in this particular recipe today because, again, it was in my pantry. I do think the cream of chicken gives it a little bit more flavor or flair in the recipe, but both work well. And after you combine the soup, you can feel free to season it. But this recipe, if you season your turkey wings the way we have, you're going to have no problem with flavor. So now that we've blended these two together, let's take and add a little bit of chicken broth to thin this out a bit to more of a gravy-like consistency. So we're gonna take this from a soup-like consistency out of the can, thin it out till we get it more like a gravy. Just add a little bit at a time. Keep on mixing and get it to the consistency that you like. I like to be thin enough so I can pour it, over all of the turkey wings, but yet it still clings a little bit to it. So add just a little bit more, and I think that should be about right for the way I like it. Now, here's a pro tip. If after you mix this together and you want to add a little bit more of a darker color to your soup mix, just add about 1/3 cap full of browning seasoning. Now, careful with this. A little dab will do you, so don't use a whole cap full. About just that amount, maybe a little bit more is going to do you, because you'll see it doesn't take a lot to change the color of this. All right, now that's it for this process. All you gotta do is, if you want right now, you can taste this and season it up. I think that my turkey wings are well seasoned already, so I'm not gonna do anything else to this. I'm just gonna pour it over top of my turkey wings. So let me move this out of the way. Bring back our turkey wings. And we're just gonna pour this liberally all over the top. All that flavor, the seasoning from the turkey wings, golden mushroom soup has its own flavor, its own smell. That cream of mushroom and cream of chicken gives it a little bit of individuality. I've added a little bit of poultry seasoning to the mix. It's going to bring out these turkey wings a lot. So once we get this poured over there, before we cover it, I'm just going to hit it with a little bit of paprika, just to add a little bit more color to the dish as it bakes for the turkey wings. And then I'm gonna finish it up with a little bit more parsley flakes, just for the presentation factor and for the color. Just give it a good little bit of a liberal dash of the parsley flakes. That's a bit. Now I'm just gonna tear off a little bit of heavy duty foil. Cover this. My oven is being preheating at 350 degrees. We're gonna cover this tightly. I'm gonna put it in the oven for 2.5 hours covered. I'm gonna remove the cover and then bake it for 30 minutes more for a total of 3 hours. Let's get it in the oven. I'll see you in a minute. Just give it a quick check. It's been about 1 hour. I can see that it's getting a good color on it. Got about another 1.5 hours covered. So let's get the foil back on it and see the end results. Okay guys, it's been 2.5 hours. Actually, it's been 3 hours. I took them out at 2.5 and uncovered them and left them in the oven for another 30 minutes. And here is the end product. They are done, they are good. All right guys, I will see you on the next video.